about taking a quiz on this, graphing, multiplying. So looking at letter D, we have negative 5x minus 3y, 2x minus 9y. And we're going to use that FOIL process. So Haley, if we multiply here, negative 5x times 2x makes negative 10x. And then after that x, you would say squared. Good. All right, the next pair, Haley, negative 5x and negative 9y. What's that give you? Okay, and then x, y. So you just write them in alphabetical order right next to each other. The next pair, so we did our first or outer. Now we have the inner to distribute. Haley, what do you have for negative 3y times 2x? Yep, and I'm going to write it alphabetically xy. And then the last one's, Haley, negative 3y and negative 9y. Yeah, I should have given myself more room. Positive 27 and then y squared. Nice job, Haley. So with all the problems we've done, those two middle terms are the like terms. In chapter 1, we said a like term has to have the same letters, same variables. Well, both of them have x and y together, so they're the same. The other one, the x squared in the front, is different than the y squared in the back. They're different variables. Yes, they're both squared, but they're different letters. So when you combine those variables together, we still have the negative 10x squared, and then 45 minus 6. Bill, what is 45 minus 6? 39. And then 27y squared. So this is my product. That's what that is actually called. The answer to a multiplication problem is the product. Questions on that? The other one that I wanted to look at was letter E. Letter E and letter F were similar. Letter E has one parenthesis and it's squared. And when you have one parenthesis and it's squared, Jason, what does that really mean? This little squared here. How many of that 2x plus 3 are there really up here? 2 of them. Yeah, that's what that squared means. It means that this is doubled. There are 2 of them. I need to write it twice. So 2x plus 3, and then another 2x plus 3. So anytime you see a little squared, that exponent means that that value, there are 2 of them. I need to double it. I need to write it twice. And then we do some FOILing. So the first term and the outer term, Emma, 2x times 2x makes, don't forget that little square. And then Emma, 2x times 3 is, and then 3 times 2x. And then finally 3 times 3 makes 9. Good. Those middle terms, right there they are. I can see they need to be combined together again. So I have 4x squared, 6 and 6 make 12, and then the 9. Are there any other problems that you would like to go over? Anybody at home have any problems that you'd like to talk about or go over?
Today's expanding on this just gets a little bit extra step added on to what we already did yesterday.
Okay, so if you want to go to Google Classroom, wonderful Google Classroom, where everything lies this school year. And I did
not having that.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
yeah. I did make sure the worksheet is good for both classes, Mr. King. I don't know what happened yesterday with that other class.
Tell you what, there's no fourth period.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so in Google Classroom, we're looking at the section 5.1 review worksheet, dose number 2. So pull that up, send it to whatever app you choose to look at. And then, yeah, the first page here is just kind of a summary review.
Just
Kind
a
of
review.
pull it all together.
So we'll go through the review real quick just to make sure we're all on the same page. And then if you look, the next ones we have, next page is this graphing. And then we have putting the functions in standard form, which is basically we're foiling again. And we problems like these that we just did a couple of days ago, last week. So let's just go up for the review. First step, pick out A, B, C. Josh, A, B, and C, what do we got?
A is 3, B is -12, and C is 8.
Yeah, 3, -12, 8. Awesome. So that's the first step. TJ, we're looking at that first leading coefficient. It's positive. Does that mean it's going to open up or down? Up, good. When it opens up, does it have a minimum value at the vertex or a maximum? If you think about it this way, opens up. That value at the bottom, is that a minimum or maximum? If it's at the bottom, it would be minimum. And if you want to save A and B for later, you can. The big thing is knowing the axis of symmetry, the vertex, the y-intercept, what the formulas are for these. Haley, what's the formula for the axis of symmetry? What does x equal? Remember, it's a negative over 2a. So we get negative b over 2a. So we're going to plug in. Our b is -12. When you plug in, use parentheses. And then our a is 3. Negative gives us a positive. Build 2 times 3 is? What's called divide by 6? 2, good. So when we look here, we have our first axis of symmetry. X equals 2. So it's just a little review. Jason, what do we do once we have our X? We find our, yeah. Tell me what to plug in. Yeah. Minus 12 times 2 plus 8. Awesome. So I'm going to take that. I'm just going to shrink it a little bit. Move it up. All right, we do our squared first. 2 squared is? Anybody? Anybody? 2 squared? Good, 4. So you get 3 times 4. You just copy down. Now we do our multiplication. Bill, 3 times 4 is? 12. Negative 12 times 2 is? Good. Now we're going to add and subtract left to right. 12 minus 24. Anya, what is that?
-12.
Good. And Michael, what would be your final answer then? Y equals?
-4.
Good. And then the big question is, how do we write that for a vertex? What would we write up here on the line?
0, -4.
Not 0. What was your X value there?
2.
Good. 2, -4. And I think that that's one thing that's easy to mistake. So we have our first value is X equals 2. Our second value is 2, -4. And then, Michael, this is the one you use the 0 on. And what would we write down? Remember 0C. So what would be our answer here?
0 and 8.
Good. 0, 8. So here's our 3 key pieces of information. Emma, where am I going to put the dashed line? 2, yeah. Oh gosh. Come on. Oh boy. I think I can. I think I can. Nope.
Rotate the pen.
There. You do one more rotation. There we go. As Emma said, it's x equals 2. Now we put our dots down. First dot is 2, -4. The other one is 0, 8. And then we got to mirror that. Oh, yeah. See? Uh-huh. That's it. Mirror it. We have 2 on this side. And then we have 2 on this side. Looks like the McDonald's arches. I could go for some nugs. It just came out with spicy nugs. I don't know if anybody saw it. Has anybody tried those? Anybody home? Anybody here in the class? I might have to be the guinea pig. And I do mean pig. Because I am ready to eat. And there's a very nice.
Still looks like a U. Remember, you don't want to see a V at the bottom there. U graphs.
Kind of looks like a dog. It has the eyes up here, the ears, nose. What do you think? No? Anybody else
Yeah, like
seen
one
it?
of those Snoopy dogs, right? Like
Yeah.
the long
Yeah.
nose Snoopy dog.
There you go. Got the ears up here,
Yeah, like, where's your imagination?
the nose. All right, enough art class. Just a review, okay? You're going to be doing the same thing for these ones down here. There's nothing different. Going through the general parabola information. Let's go through this together. Anya, if the leading coefficient A is positive, the parabola opens what?
Opens up.
Yeah. If it opens up, we could go up top. Up means minimum. That point right here, that's a minimum point.
Every time it opens up, it's always a minimum. Not
Yeah.
big minimum go together.
And now the next part should be pretty easy. If the value of A is negative, the parabola opens. TJ? Down. Good. And TJ, the vertex is you got it.
Think about that dog. We're gonna name him Max. Down Max.
Oh, I like
Max.
that. I like that name.
Max sounds like a good dog name. My neighbor's boy is Max, and he needs to be told to be down a lot too. He climbs trees and swing sets, and he's a rough boy.
I like it. What is the line of symmetry of a parabola, and what equation used to find the line of symmetry? Well, we just had this one up here.
I guess I missed what is there.
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
No, it's my type.
Oh. So the axis of symmetry is the same thing as the line of symmetry. Bill, what's the equation for that?
Or x equals a or negative b
Yep.
over 2a.
That's it. And the vertex of the parabola, so if we look up the vertex, what did we do? So the vertex of the parabola is at x and y. And what you do is you find x. Then plug x back in to find y. That's it. All right, you guys should be good on the graphing, correct? Okay.
There's 3 graphs on this worksheet.
That's it. So I'm going to do number 10 with you, and then I think you're going to be good on the rest of the problems. The last one we're going to do together, unless you have questions. First step here, using PEMDAS. What do we do? Bill? What do we have to get rid of first?
The square.
Yeah, we look at the square, PEMDAS, we're going to get rid of that first. So that's going to be equal to, if you want to get rid of the fraction early, you can. If you want to leave it, you can.
You gotta write it as a decimal. Feel free to write it as a decimal.
Yeah, that's the same thing as negative 0.5, or if you, or 0.2, or you just put negative 0.2, and then you get x plus 5, and it's squared, as Jason told us at the beginning of the period. That means you do it twice. Right, Jason? Like, why have one spicy 10-piece McNuggets when you could have 2? Does anybody know if you square a 10-piece McNugget, how many McNuggets would you have? What's a 10-piece squared? Really outside the box thinking here, but does anybody know how many nuggets that is? Huh? 100, yeah, absolutely. 10 squared, 100. I really am, all the time. Okay, so there's a piece I definitely want to make sure you guys know. When there's a leading coefficient out here, you only bring it in to the first set of parentheses, not both. So it's the one, it's like the buddy system. Whatever's next to it is what you do. We're going to multiply that through. You get negative 0.2x, and then 1/5 of positive 5, or negative 1/5 of positive 5 is going to give you negative 1. This now becomes the new parentheses. You keep the second set the same. Don't forget your 3. From here, we're going to use the FOIL method. Jason, what do I get when I FOIL? Good. And now we look to see what can we combine. Well, we have our x's, and then we also have our, we pick a nice orange. And we also have our negative 5 and negative 3. So Jason, what do you get when you combine it for a final answer? Negative 0.2x squared minus 2x. What? Finish it off. Not minus 2. Negative 5 minus 3. Yeah, that's it. So I'm going to keep this example up here. The rest of the problems are very similar. If you look at 12 and 13, you distribute the 5 through to the first set of parentheses. It's 13 to distribute the negative 6 through. They're all very identical to this. So if you're able to do this one, you should be able to do the rest of them. So now's the rest of the time to complete yesterday's assignment, complete this assignment, get them both in. Tomorrow is your test. If you have any questions, now is the time to ask. At home, we'll go over anything, but definitely now is the time to ask.
For those of you at home, can you please chat me using the chat feature? Make sure it's just going to Mrs. Kane, what your plans are for returning to school. So I want you to please use the chat feature and say in the chat feature, I plan on going 4 days in person, or I plan on remaining 5 days virtual. So those of you at home, if you could please chat me that right now. I just want to have an idea as to